Okay everyone, so I'm going to show you how to make the pâté brisé for the vegetable pie that we're making in the dinner club this week. You can do it with food processor. That makes short and easy work out of it. But if you don't have a food processor, you can still do it in a bowl using a fork or a pastry blender. But this way is nice because it's super fast, and because it's so quick, you don't melt the butter and heat up the fat so much. When you're making a pie crust like this, everything being cold is really important. So in your food processor, you're just going to add your flour and table salt, and you want to use table salt, not kosher salt, because of the grind on it. And then I like a tiny bit of sugar in mine. And then I cut my unsalted butter and my shortening into small cubes, and then I stick it in the freezer. So this is actually frozen. You just toss that in. Super easy. And then put your lid on, and you're going to do a pulsing. You don't want to just turn it on and leave it on. What you're trying to do is pulse, and you want some kind of larger chunks of the fat and then smaller ones. So pulse, pulse. And then once you get it, so you can see there are still some small pieces, but also a couple of larger ones, we're going to add the water. And I always get a little bit of extra water because sometimes, depending on the hydration level of your flour, you might need to add a little bit more. But I usually start with about 1/4 of a cup, and I'm kind of guessing on that. Oops. And then again, you're going with the pulse, not turning it on. And what you're trying to do is just get it to come together in just a little bit more, I think. And again, pulse, pulse. But see how now it's kind of forming larger clumps? Once it gets like this, I like to take a piece of plastic film and I just dump it out on the film. And again, the less you touch it, the better, because your hands are hot. And then I just form it into a ball, and then take my plastic film and cover it and just work it into a flat disc. And then that way, when you're rolling it out, it's going to be a nice circular shape. And then you can refrigerate or freeze this, refrigerate it for up to a week or freeze it almost indefinitely. But then let me show you real quick about rolling out a pie dough. So this is one I made earlier, and it's refrigerated. And you want to put just a little bit of flour, not too much, on your board. And then I like to just flatten my edges a little bit of flour on your rolling pin. And then starting in the center, I kind of get it going. And then you're going to roll from the center out, And see how it's kind of popping up, so that means I need just a bit more flour. But the more flour you add, the tougher you'll make your shell. So, and we're going to about the thickness of maybe like a nickel, is what I think. And then periodically, I just lift, pop it over, and a little bit of tearing is normal. You can repair any cracks. Okay, and that looks about the right shape for our pie. And then take your pin, put it on the edge, lift your edges, roll it over gently. Just make sure you don't press too hard. And then just set your pie plate down, roll it across, and then just tuck it in gently. I use the back of my hand to press it in, and then you're just going to fold your edge over lightly. And if it's too fat, you can trim your edges down, but this seems about right, I think. Okay. And then I like to take my thumb and index finger, the other hand, and put my thumb here and crimp, here and crimp, here and crimp, all the way around. Oops. And I personally think a little bit of imperfection in a pie is a good thing, because then you know it's homemade. But then to that, we're just going to add the vegetable stew that we made. and then you bake it. You can roll out another one. I usually divide this in two so I can do a top piece, and then you bake it off, and it makes a wonderful light lunch or easy supper, or you can even slice it really thin and serve it as an hors d'oeuvre. So I hope you'll try this recipe, and please remember to post your photos. Thanks, bye.